Everybody's looking for 100x opportunities, and right now I'm about to show you exactly how to use CoinMarketCap to find 100x, 200, 500, or even 1000x opportunities to turn small amounts into large amounts, or even bigger amounts into even larger amounts. This is the exact system I've used for years, and it works. Let's dive right into it. So the first thing you want to understand is that market cap is essentially a joke. It's kind of a retail lie disguise, some way to manipulate the minds and the eyes and capture attention. The first page or the home page of any of these data analytics platforms like CoinMarketCap, their main priority is to show you what has the highest value. Everything here is ordered typically by market cap. Now, what exactly is market cap? Well, the market cap is the current price times the circulating supply. Raise your hand if you know what the problem is here. Anybody can decide the price of their token, and anybody can decide how many tokens are in their supply. Therefore, this market cap number is virtually useless because you and I can launch a token at any price that we set, and then we can decide how many tokens are in the supply. This doesn't really mean that the project itself has any value whatsoever. So let's demystify this simply by checking a few key examples of assets that are really popular to find out what is truly undervalued. Because the reality is, in order to get those huge opportunities, you either have to A, have huge investments and huge interest, or you need to find something that is undervalued. I would say the easier way to do it is to find assets that are undervalued with powerful narratives and strong teams, which of course will increase the demand. Learn all about liquidity risk management with the tool I created right here at CoinWins. The link is of course in the description. So now what you can use with CoinWins is all of the courses essentially, and you can actually understand way more about the digital asset space from a really good perspective from someone who's been in the space for nearly a decade and who has released multiple tokens and multiple apps for social media, on-chain apps for trading, peer-to-peer trading, decentralized applications you could find in your Google Play Store, things like that. So definitely join us. But let's look at a few key assets, starting with something like SUI. Now, if you look at the markets tab on CoinMarketCap, what you'll notice is there's a category, a little table, a column that says +2, -2% depth. This is the amount of capital that's required to increase or to reduce the price by 2%. Now look at this particular asset on Binance, on Coinbase, and all the other different exchanges. You'll see it takes $1.2 million to move the price by 2%. Do the math and figure out exactly how much that would be to move the price by 100%. Now, to be clear, a 100% move is simply a double. Okay, look at this. Roughly $1 million. Okay, on this exchange, it's about $200,000. So this is where you have a lot of discrepancies in the market, where huge wicks, scam wicks, they may call it. It's because of things like this. There are other reasons why this happens, but look at the difference. On this exchange, it's 333,000, but on this exchange, it's 1.2 million to move the price by 2%. If you go through this tab and you add all of these up one by one to see, gosh, you'll see it takes a lot of capital to move this asset by just 2%. Let's look at other examples. Here's another one, Solana. Look at the top exchanges and you'll see $8 million to move the price by 2%. 700,000 to move the price by 2%. Here we go, just about $5 million to move the price by just 2%. How are we going to get 100x opportunities with these types of odds? It's going to become really, really difficult unless the demand is extreme and the entire world is on chain or on that specific chain. So when you have liquidity pool data, it makes it predictable and repeatable to find assets with 1000x potential. So in this chart, we look at liquidity pools of $100,000. That's essentially 50% stable coins and 50% of the reserve token. So for example, 50% USDC and 50% Zora. You'll see that to get a 2x from a pool that has $100,000 liquidity, only takes $20,000. And all the way up to a 1000x will take $1.5 million. So the same amount of money that it takes to move a smaller asset by 1000x is the same amount of money it takes to move an asset like Solana, just 2%. So let's dive in. Now, you'll notice that there are differences. There are centralized exchanges and there are decentralized exchanges. Liquidity pools exist on decentralized exchanges. That is the key to understand. Okay. And they use a formula that is a constant product formula where price escalates exponentially. And that goes for up moves and down moves. Okay. Let's move on and look at something like Bitcoin, which is the granddaddy of them all. $18 million on the most liquid exchange to move the price of Bitcoin by 2%. So just use your mind and think, when you see these huge pumps on Bitcoin that have gone on 10 or 15, 20%, just do the math in your head and see how many millions of dollars it takes just to do that 20% move. And imagine if just 1% of that was put into an altcoin that had strength in its team, its narrative, of course, its demand. Suddenly, you have yourself sitting on several 500x, 1000x, or at least 50x tokens. But why join CoinWinds? By the way, it's free. Advanced token research, but super simplified. Liquidity risk management, which is what we're talking about right now. Obviously, learning how to do on-chain analysis to really hone in, to be a sleuth, to find these real opportunities, to seek out risks. Okay, we're looking for day trading opportunities, of course, not retail patterns. And we're looking at trade timeframes, digital asset security, the most secure ways, and of course, blockchain basics for super simplified, introductions, essentially. Let's look at Ethereum. $18,000 to move the price by 2% on this exchange. Now, of course, this exchange is the most liquid. We're talking about Binance at this time, but even Coinbase is still $6 million. Let's go back to Bitcoin and look at Coinbase. $22 million to move this asset by 2% for Bitcoin on Coinbase. It's super liquid. They got a lot of liquidity, so good luck moving the price. Let's look at XRP, the beloved XRP, okay? $5 million to move the price by simply a measly 2%. And on Coinbase, we have $2.6 million to move the price by 2%. Let me ask you if this is where you want to hold your assets for long-term growth, or is this where you want to hold your money for quick flips? Let's move on to Caspa and take a look. On Bybit, we have $60,000 to move the price. We have roughly $70,000. We have $100,000. So we can see that it costs significantly less to move the price of Caspa by 2% compared to all of the other top assets that we mentioned. The thing about Caspa is kind of tricky because Caspa can be mined with Bitcoin, and likely miners are going to sell Caspa as opposed to selling Bitcoin to pay for their fees, right? So use this information to find your next 100x opportunity. This data comes directly from our free course. If you want to know how to find 1000x opportunities on a decentralized exchange like Aerodrome or Uniswap, perhaps even PancakeSwap, then check this video out and check us out in the community. The link's in the description.